Hey everybody, how are you doing on this fine Sunday evening? We got a lot of football to talk about. Leagues Cup has started. I was actually watching some Olympics as well. Who's caught up on the Olympics? Who's into the Olympics? Interesting stuff to watch. USA, New Zealand. That was a fun game. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. Uncle Ed is still trying to log in. He'll be here in a minute or two, hopefully. But if you're in the chat, say hello. Give you guys a few minutes to get active in the chat. I see one person saying hello already, but let's get active in there as well. But I want to touch on obviously a few things on the Leagues Cup. That's obviously for the next month, our main topic of discussion. And also, there's been a little bit of an uproar about Leagues Cup and whether or not people care or not about Leagues Cup. There's some people that are boycotting, maybe. I don't know. We'll get into that a little bit tonight. Of course, I want to get your thoughts and opinions on that as well. But before we get too far, we always want to start off the show in telling you where you should go shopping. And that's Caneswear. Caneswear is the best place in South Florida to get all your messy gear. The messiest wall in all of South Florida can be found in Davie, Florida, just on University Drive, just south of 595. If Caneswear is too far for you to go to caneswear.com. All orders over $99, ship for free. Mention FMTV. You might get a discount. But great deals in town. Support local business. There's a challenge for these guys. They're going up against the mega corporation like Fanatics. So support your local business and go out and buy your Inter Miami gear at Caneswear. And talking about supporting local. You want to buy a house locally? Call Mia Rodrigues. Want to buy or sell property? Mia is the person to talk to. She is, as Ed always says, the GOAT of all realtors. So talk to Mia for any of your housing needs. Ed is calling in now, so I'm trying to bring him up before we get too far. Let's see. Let's bring in the two cameras. Let's see if he pops in. Nope. This is, let's see. Let's go assign him to guest 2. Boom! There's Ed. How you doing, Ed?
Good, Peter. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What a nice tropical looking background you've got there. Very Miami looking. Look at you.
Check this out. Got a little water, what's it called? Fountain behind me.
Oh yeah, you've done the show from here before.
Yeah, I'm at my daughter's house, so I figured I'll connect from here.
But I like the palm trees. It feels very, very South Florida, very Miami. It's good. It's good. It's a good look.
And there's iguanas in the background. You didn't get to see any, but they like chilling around here. So
if you see an iguana, I think we need to get an interview with one of the iguanas.
I'll definitely do a close-up.
We need to see what his thoughts are on Leagues Cup.
For sure.
I mean, look, should I know Inter Miami's icon is a heron. Should it have maybe been an iguana? I mean, they're everywhere in Miami.
But I think they're not supposed to be...
no. They're invasive, but they're here.
Yeah.
And they're not going anywhere.
Sure. Well, the gators are done, but they reproduce so fast that, they're practically from South Florida now.
I know. I mean, they fall out of the trees. I've only had... I have a canal in my backyard, and I always thought, with this canal, I'm probably going to have tons of iguanas. I'm going to have an iguana problem. I've seen one. In the 4 years that I've lived here, I've seen one.
Wow, you'd figure you'd have a whole bunch. Here they do. They've got like a little canal type thing here, and there's like a whole bunch of iguanas.
Yeah, and you've been to my house. You've seen the canal. It looks like the perfect place for an iguana, but...
It's fun, nothing.
Yeah, no iguanas. I mean, just one, which that's not a bad problem. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hi to a few people in the chat. Let's see who's here.
I see sports shorts, Peter Brown.
What's that?
Sports shorts.
You see sports shorts. Okay, I'm going to start then because I see some people you may not see. Let's start with the first person I see in here is Tio Lewis.
Oh, look at that.
Louis Rodrigues is here. Kata, welcome. Great start to Leagues Cup. One World, One Goal is here as well, as always. Sport Shorts, as you just mentioned, just found out I share a birthday with Harry Kane. Nice. Happy birthday, Sport Shorts. Everybody's favorite new person from New Jersey, Eric Thomas.
Good evening.
And that's it I see for now. Now it's just repeats of people having conversations. So,
Peter, one thing I wanted to mention right before we start is, because and you appropriately said it in the title of the picture. I mean, does anybody really care? I mean, we fought so hard to bring a team to South Florida, and we're not even going to the Leagues Cup.
No, and that's a thing. Okay, So the whole thing is who cares? We could get into the game, but I guess it's the bigger story is really, does anybody care about Leagues Cup? And yeah, last year I went to every Leagues Cup game in South Florida. And part of that was riding the high, seeing the first ever game from Messi. You were there. You know?
Yeah.
And then going to some of the other games. And thanks to this channel, sometimes you guys might wonder where, we make a little bit of money, very little bit on this channel. It went to getting us, to those games. They were expensive. And so we made sure that if the channel is paying for those games, we're gonna film content, right? And provide content for those games. So we did. But I was like, my thoughts, and Ed agreed with me, is that we did that last year. I don't know if we should be doing that again this year. Those tickets are expensive. But there is a little bit of an asterisk, because yesterday, if you went on Ticketmaster, the cheapest tickets I saw on Ticketmaster were $55. Okay. And that's like in the supporter section. Still fairly expensive, but doable.
Right.
However, if you went on third-party sites, like I went on Vivid Seats, you could see I saw tickets for as low as $17.
Wow.
Ed, I saw seats in our section, 115, row 23, for $25, $26. So like 2 hours before game time, tickets did drop. So as you want to say as the club, but this is not so much Inter Miami. This is the Leagues Cup as an organization overcharging for light flickered.
Didn't pay for the bill, huh?
Right. It's raining outside. Maybe that has something to do with it. It's pouring here. But they obviously they didn't sell, or a lot of people bought them at that high price and they're not selling, so they're trying to offload them. So I hated the fact that I saw the cheap prices, because I had already made alternate plans. I am currently a one-car family, because what we did was we had 2 cars. I gave my second car to my daughter, and me and my wife, because we both work from home, we figured out 1 car payment is enough. We could share a car because we both work from home. So she said, "Hey, are you doing anything Saturday?" I said, "No." She's like, "Okay, I got some things I need to do." So she took the car. So even though I saw cheaper tickets, I got no way to get there. And I'm not Ubering. I'm not doing all that stuff.
Peter, you should have told. Well, I didn't know about the prices too, but I thought about going. I could have gone, and I could have driven. So we did bad communication between both of us. Because I saw the tickets go down, and I was like, should I go? But then the parking
would not have been reduced. The parking would have been would have been twice as much or 3 times more than the actual tickets. So either way, the way I looked at it was, it would have been over $100 a day, because I'm going to have 1 or 2 drinks in the stadium, $50 to park, $20 ticket potentially, right? It still would have been over $100. And so, we watched it at home. And I think a lot of people are doing the same thing. If you looked at the Inter Miami Stadium, what was the crowd at that game, Ed?
I think I saw our good friend Julio Caballero said it was just over 16,000 people went.
16,490. I asked you only so that I could go and look it up.
Ah, ha, ha.
Buy myself some time.
But yeah, it's and Lakata's saying parking free at BJ's. He says he spent 25 total with water.
Right. So no, I'm not saying you can't do it cheaper, right? But I'm just telling you, I'm not parking at BJ's and doing that long walk. Maybe I'm a little too fancy. Maybe I'm a snob. I don't know. I don't like to park my car in a situation where I think it's potentially going to get towed. Yep, I'm not taking that risk. And I know that Kata probably you could take that risk 1,000 times and get away with it. I always feel like I'll do it that one time and get busted. So
that'll happen.
So that's just the way I roll. And so, but my point, and then, okay, let's talk about this. Since we're going out of order. Oops. That's
my fault.
Yeah, no, but that's okay.
Oh,
we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. We're going out of order. Then there was teams, and I see some comments here, for example, that, and this is true, some other teams get their tickets, by the way, including in their season tickets. So some teams, the Leagues Cup was included in their season ticket package. I did see that. We are not one of those teams.
We're not
then
them,
on top of that,
but I did hear some people who pay for VIP, they got free tickets.
Right. Okay. Hang on. Let's go back. You got me fired up on that.
I'm ruining everything.
You got us flip-flopping, going everywhere, Ed. I first was going to talk about the game, then get into this, but that's okay. Oh, wait, hang on. There's comments in here. One World, One Goal says, Peter is bougie. Wonder if he knows what that means. I know what it means. And she says, it's a compliment. That's not necessarily a compliment.
Well, you are rather high class, Peter Brown.
I just don't want my car towed. And I've been in that situation. Here. Esteban, maybe he's right. Peter has age caught up to you from your wild rock and roll life days that now you play it too safe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm a conservative in a lot of things. But I do play it safe. That's okay because I don't want to. I have had my car. No, I've never had my car towed. And I don't want it to start now at 55. I've never had it towed.
I've had it done a couple of times, more when I was younger. But yeah, it's not the best feeling when you walk out or when you get to, you're done doing whatever you're doing and your car's not there. It sucks.
Yeah, exactly. I remember years ago with a friend of mine, we're sitting at the elbow room at a table outside on the sidewalk area. He and I both drove separately, and we met up at the elbow room. We're having a beer and just chilling out, enjoying the festivities around Fort Lauderdale Beach. And we're sitting there enjoying a beer, and we see a tow truck drive by, and he's like, "That's my car.
The car.
That's my car." And I'm like, "Dude, where'd you park?"
Yeah. Where do you park?
Someplace he wasn't supposed to. But he's like, "But I saw other people." And
lucky he had you, because it would have sucked being there without a ride or something.
Yeah. I was able to give him a ride, exactly. But anyways, what you had commented on. So we know of at least a person that the team gifted them. Was it their tickets? Like they got their tickets or different tickets? Their tickets.
He got his tickets, yeah.
So they were gifted their tickets for the Leagues Cup game. We were not given that offer. Is that because Ed and I are not big enough spenders? We sit on the cheapo East, and Ed ain't cheap. But the West is more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems wrong. I mean, I get the fact that you pay more, you get more. 100% understand that. But when it comes to like a benefit like, hey, we're going to include your Leagues Cup ticket, That should be included to all season ticket holders. Now, if you're paying more for a better seat, maybe you get more amenities like, better seats, free food, free drink, whatever. I get all that. That makes sense. But
yeah, not cool for us. Cool for other people. Oh,
this
there
is
he
here.
is.
This is for One World, One Goal. She said she did enjoy my long hair pick. It's still here. It's still here.
Hard to believe it's you, Peter.
Yeah, and I got a fresh haircut today. I mean, look at that, fresh.
That must have been
a freshie
a lot of
cut.
maintenance right there.
What's that?
Yeah, that must have been a lot of maintenance right there.
Nah.
Shampoo, conditioner.
Can you guess where I am there? Guess where I am.
Probably. I don't think that's probably. What's that place called? I can't remember.
Okay, you're wrong. That's Disney. I'm in Disney.
Oh, I thought it was in Lauderdale somewhere.
Back when Disney had the nightclubs, Pleasure Island. That's Disney. My wife looks at this picture and she makes fun of me for my shirt because she's like, "That's a girly shirt." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that was in style."
I had shirts like that too, Peter Brown. So I can't blame you.
I like how Richard Greenberg rolls here. Peter must have gotten the ladies with that long hair.
Rumor has it.
Anyways, as we were talking about the,
we'll have to put a picture of me, Peter, with my pompadour.
Yeah, you got to send it to me. I'll load it.
I'll send it to you next time.
So as we're talking about whether or not people care about the Leagues Cup, a big issue with Leagues Cup was the fact that a lot of people are mad that MLS did not play in the Open Cup. And the reason they said they did not play in the Open Cup, one of the reasons, was congestion.
Yeah.
Too many games. So here's a comment from, this is just one example. A lot of supporters clubs made similar statements. Due to MLS, Austin Anthem, the Austin FC club says, due to MLS and Austin FC not fully participating in 2024 U.S. Open Cup because of schedule congestion, Austin Anthem will not organize support of any kind during any Leagues Cup match. We encourage members to not attend or sell tickets. We will see you back at Q Stadium on 8/31. So several teams said the same thing, that they don't want to support a manufactured tournament. Here's where I stand on that. Everything is manufactured. Every U.S. Open Cup is manufactured. Might have been 100 years ago, so it has some history. Everything has to start somewhere. It's all manufactured. So that, that one argument I don't get. Some people say that. But so having said that, Austin
it's all about making money.
Austin says this, but then it looks like that. Austin said they're not supporting, and then it looks like this. That looks like supporters club smoke there.
The Verdes are there. So maybe it was just one of the supporters groups that said they weren't going. But there's more than one.
Yeah, there's several that I saw. Several of the supporters clubs said the same thing. So let's go back. So they did not stand true. You know who did stand true? Atlanta United. I didn't see any public comment, but they spoke with these seats. And this is one of the examples that Don Garber used for U.S. Open Cup. He said, it costs a lot of money to open these stadiums. And if we're only going to get a few thousand people at a game, it's not worth opening the doors. Now, they could always play at alternate stadiums, which they've done in the past. But here's a game where, there's more than a few thousand, but it's still pretty empty for Atlanta United, who is a very well-supported club. Now, we all know Atlanta's in a downward spiral right now. But, They didn't show up.
Well, I think that's a cop out, to tell you the truth. My opinion, Garber's going to say what he's going to say because he wants to support Leagues Cup because he's going to make more money off of that sucker, and TV rights, et cetera, et cetera. U.S. Open, I guess they're not as organized, they're not as flashy, and yes, people probably aren't going to show up in the first rounds because they're going to be playing, Bucktooth, team from, Texas or whatever, so it doesn't make sense for them. But that's where you take advantage and you go play in smaller stadiums around your area or whatever, or let the smaller teams have the chance of,
Let them host.
hosting these big teams because they're going to make money. They're going to let them do it. The stages where you don't want to, Garber says he doesn't want to spend the money for the venues. Okay, don't do it. Let them, let the MLS teams play in the other stadiums and the and let these other peoples make the money, and let them have the opportunity to play a Major League Soccer team, which is going to be attractive for smaller teams than it will for Major League Soccer teams and their fans.
Yeah, so I'm a huge thing is the way I'm coming across now, it might sound like I'm pro Leagues Cup and anti US Open. I'm not sure, but I am pro US Open. I love that tournament. But I also know nobody cares. Nobody goes to those games. Garber's not wrong. The argument that I've seen people have is that whether people show up to the games or not, MLS being the leader in this country in football, they owe it to the sport, right? Even if they lose money on the tournament, they owe it to the sport to lift up the lower leagues, right? So that's the argument that now, of course, Garber and Garber, everybody blames Garber for everything. He's just the mouthpiece for the owners. And I read a really cool article about him in the Athletic, talking about where he started. It's pretty interesting. But
flies over marsh flies.
But I love the Open Cup, and I want them to find a way to make it work. But and I think they will. And at the end of the day, what they need to do is just increase the rosters. What they needed to do is the idea behind allowing the two teams, the reserve teams playing, is the right decision, I think. But what I think they now U.S. Open needs to allow all those two players to have like temporary contracts, I guess, for the first team, right. And let them play in it up until maybe the later games where it gets more serious, and then you want your Messis and your Suarez's to play. But
yeah, I'm with you on that. But yeah, I support the Open Cup. I'd rather they play that than. But this is attractive, monetarily. I mean, I'm sure the teams prefer to, have full stadiums with this league than U.S. Open Cup, where they've got the risk of getting their players hurt, et cetera, et cetera.
Richard Greenberg says Miami FC must miss Inter Miami CF playing them this year. Because that was their best attended game. Miami FC got to host, and there was 10,000 people, maybe more. I don't think I know me and Julio went to the last year's game. It was at least 10,000, maybe more. And normally, as much as I want Miami FC to succeed, I have my 3 Miami FC jerseys. They never wear, but I got them. I want them to succeed, but nobody goes. I mean, nobody goes to those games.
And it sucks because that would have been an interesting team. I mean, I feel bad for Silva, who spent so much money on that. But he did it for the love of the game. But he's at this point. I think I saw some article that said they might not be around for very much longer because
I've heard some internal conversations that the plug could get pulled, but I'm not. You never know. There's always that kind of rumor. More conversation in the chat. Garber Kata says Garber is a money man, not soccer first. So Garber now that I read his backstory, Garber is a marketing man first. He got his start in a marketing company. And so that's where and then he was able to convince other brands to sponsor his idea. He got into marketing, eventually found his way into NFL, but in the marketing division. And he got brands to buy into his idea, his promotion that he was planning on doing. And and it was a success. And that was how he kind of moved up. But at the end of the day, he is just a mouthpiece of the owners. And I think I saw here One World, One Goal mention the owners are still NFL guys. That's their top priority first and the best ways to stream money. Like our owner, Jorge Mas, is not an NFL guy, but he's clearly a money guy, as our season tickets prices will speak for. The season ticket prices say everything, right?
They got so many sponsors, Peter. It's crazy. I mean, it was a great idea.
They don't need our money.
Yeah, and he's and people are paying, and he's doing rather well. Probably the team that's making the most money now.
Louis Rodrigues comments: American organizers don't expand their football here in America as they do in Europe. That is true.
I think it was Esteban Dito was saying something about you being old and that you're not like you used to be. There you go.
Peter, yes, age changed you once you lean towards management too much versus fans, but it's your capitalistic-minded ways. I am a capitalist, 100%. But and as far as leaning towards management, I flip-flop, right? Because I still am an employee, but I am also management. So I flip-flop.
That you are.
Richard Greenberg makes a great comment. Garber is one of the greatest sports executives ever. Saved MLS and teams worth over $500 million. Yeah, say what you want. He also is in an unpopular position. He's in a position where us as fans, we're never really going to like him. But he's got to make the owners happy. He's got to grow the sport. Look, part of the story that I read, it did say when he was hired, he presented the owners with two paths that he saw. One path was basically continue doing what you're doing. And you'll probably go another 2-3 years. Don't know if you'll go beyond that. It's probably the end. You'll have to put in a lot more money and maybe you'll lose it all. Plan 2 or plan B was, and a lot of people kicked back on this because plan B was way more aggressive. It was, we fold 2 teams. We know how that went. And we asked the owners to invest a ton more money because he had the idea of creating Soccer United marketing to get into the marketing business. Again, remember his background was marketing. And also do it heavily invest in other ways. Some of the owners balked at that, saying, wait a minute, you want me to pay more money when I'm losing? And basically he said, yes, this is the path forward. And it worked. As much as it pains us to see Miami Fusion and Tampa Bay Mutiny disappear, it worked. And
it did work.
The newest San Diego team is coming into the league next year, and they paid over $500 million to join the league.
And did you ever think to see this league with 30 teams, Peter Brown?
What's that?
Did you ever think of seeing this league with 30 teams? That's
Look,
crazy.
It sounds like they're not done at 30. It's going to go beyond 30. Indianapolis is trying to get into the league now. But it's going back to, I started a couple of conversations here that I want to bring it back to Leagues Cup. Esteban Dito says, Leagues Cup last year was a success due to Messi's arrival. Otherwise, it's an overkill. Messi definitely, you want to start a tournament, that's how you start it, right? You bring in the world's greatest player and his first game and how that he won the game. I mean, it was storybook as storybook gets. You know, and I actually was looking at the numbers. So last year, the average attendance out of the entire tournament was 17,255. So solid, but those are kind of like your average MLS numbers, right?
Right.
And even last year, I do remember seeing some half-empty stadiums. Not every team was in it the way Miami was in it, right? And they weren't buying the drinking the Kool-Aid like we were because they didn't have Messi. The games were selling well in places like Texas and all that, wherever Messi was going. And then this year, now, of course, very small sample size. This year, the average attendance is 34,129.
Nice.
Now, it's heavily weighted by the fact that there was a game for San Jose Earthquakes against Chivas. I saw a little bit of that game at Levi Stadium in San Francisco where the 49ers play, and there they had over 50,000 people at that game. So, in St. Louis, in the entire weekend, St. Louis was one of those teams as well that said, we're boycotting. And they pretty much did because they had the lowest attendance at 17,584.
But aren't we lower? I think we're lower.
What was our? Yeah, actually, technically, my Google search was technically 16,490. We're lower. You're right, Ed. Thanks for catching that.
Yeah,
because my Google search was from ESPN. Maybe that hadn't been reported in, but ESPN has the lowest at 17,000. But technically, we're the lowest. So we are the team that we should care the most as the defending champions, and we didn't.
Interesting statistics, Peter Brown. But so I'm looking forward. We get this Wednesday off, but we come back on Saturday against what's going to be a stronger team, Tigres.
That's going to be a different game. That's going to be in an NFL stadium as well. Where the Houston Texans play, I think.
Oh, really? I thought it was here.
No. It's at NRG Stadium, which I think is Houston. I'm not 100%. I think it's Houston. NRG Stadium is where it is. It's not here.
Oh, look at that.
So it seems like the games, I'm curious to see what happens in Atlanta, for example, when they play against a Mexican team. So because to me, it seems like the games where it's MLS team against MLS team, nobody's really showing up. Forget about us, because we didn't show up against Puebla for the most part. But the Mexican versus MLS games, those seem to be pretty well attended. Sports Shorts confirmed it is the Houston Texans Stadium.
So they're going to probably fill that sucker up because a lot of people might want to go see Suarez. And, I guess we could start talking about the game because,
Well, before we start to the game, there's an important comment here. Ted Skowski, more importantly than League's Cup, Ed needs to shave. Clean shaven is my preference. Gracias.
True.
What do you have to say about that?
I've got the beards going a little bigger than I usually have it. And I do have to trim the dome.
Are you getting the beard a little bushier, preparing for December? You going to go in for the Santa Claus?
Might do a Santa Claus. I'm starting to get the belly going. So, hopefully by Christmas I'll be nice and chubby.
Oh, Jesus. All right, yeah.
If anybody's looking to hire a Santa Claus, I'm available.
Oh, I meant to change it to this one. There we go. There. I love when things are working slowly. They're not working as they should work. All right, let's move to where I thought the show would start. We'll continue on. How about the game? We played Puebla, and I saw somebody in the chat here, Tank asking, How about Dos Santos and Martinez last night? I'll tell you, obviously, I thought Dos Santos played well. I put him in the thumbnail. Plus, I like the fact that he did this. That just made for a good thumbnail. But when I saw that Dos Santos was playing, I was like, oh, no. Nothing against him. It's just he's obviously the number 2 for a reason. I want my number 1 to start. But they played Dos Santos. He made a couple good saves. And then Martinez, I think he showed well. What did you think about those two guys, Ed?
I think they were good, and I got to tell you, Dos Santos, you getting the clean sheet that Calendar hasn't been able to get in a long time might say something. I think Dos Santos was playing very well. Our defense too. I'm surprised because they had, Eloso, Marco hates that Tata always puts what's his name, Busquets, as a defender.
I don't like it either.
He's slow. It's dangerous, but it worked. And so I see that's. I think it's. Forgot who was. Somebody's putting comments on how Tata's a bad coach, but he's making things work.
I don't know how you could say that, and I think Mike V hates Tata. I think he's
Mike
in here. You know,
Mike
we've met
the
Mike,
guy.
and we know he's not a fan.
That's the coach.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't know where the chat is. It's way back, but I don't know how you could say that. You know, we have had a tough year this year with so many injuries. And look at the games we're winning. We're this before the Leagues Cup, this series of what, 7 games, I think it is, where where we didn't have Messi, 6 or 7, and we've won majority of them. We only lost one of them. Now, it was a bad loss.
It was
but
a bad
those
one.
are all games that I figured would be a 50-50. You know, I thought we'd win some, lose some. And because that's why I felt like, okay, we need to do real well while we have Messi, because we're going to forget about being the supporter shield. We're probably going to drop down 2 or 3 spots during the time that he's away. And it didn't happen. And that has to go down. The coach has to get some credit for that.
Well, yeah, and we do have a team with a lot of depth, thankfully.
We do.
And it's working. Criticize Tata for, he does some weird stuff. I wish he'd put in Campana a little bit earlier so he can, try to get that goal, because he's trying to get, beat the record for the most goals for the club. But he's choking so far because it's probably too much pressure, man. But yeah, there's things that Tata does that I'm not too fond of, and you'd think, he'd be a little bit better, but he's getting the results. So how much can you really criticize the guy?
Agreed. Ace Lionel says, let's be real. Puebla isn't a high caliber team. I want to see Dos Santos against Tigres. True. But they were the team in front of us. And so, there's always that conversation that, Liga MX is better than MLS. We're always trying to, compare ourselves to Liga MX or Liga MX. And so whether they're a good Liga MX team or not, they're still, for a long time, Liga MX teams were better than all the MLS teams. So you can only play the team in front of you. And they mission accomplished. They did what they were supposed to do, even though there was the second half. I thought we looked slow. We were like, are they tired? They definitely looked a little bit different in the second half. But, it will be definitely a much different match, a much tougher match against Tigres. And I'm not so sure. I know somebody had mentioned in here that they thought that Dos Santos would be the goalkeeper for the entire tournament. I'm not so sure, because the commentators on the game made a comment, because they're commentators. That's what they do. They make comments. And I agree. I think we saw this, because the commentator basically said they had a conversation with Chris Henderson, our GM, and said, what did they learn from last year's tournament? They learned that they need to do more rotation, because after the tournament, the players were spent. And so, the MLS, tournament then was kind of done. They put everything they had in Leagues Cup. So now they're taking this approach where we're resting players. You're going to see probably a scenario where Suarez doesn't play and Campana does play. You're going to see maybe a scenario where Alba doesn't and maybe Negri gets in. They're going to rotate players a little bit more, I think. And whether it's good or not, we'll see. I do wonder where the club puts the importance of this tournament. Is the importance like, hey, we've won that and now we know the most important thing is MLS Cup. So we'll rotate players for Leagues Cup because you know what? If we lose, whatever. We're resting players. We're doing what we need to. We're deep, whatever. Whatever happens. But we're putting all our eggs in the MLS Cup basket. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I think with the players we've got, we can obviously we can play without Messi. We've been winning without Messi. I think we're doing in MLS. We're doing a lot better than I thought we would. I totally thought we would be, in third or fourth place by now, and look at us in first place with some cushion space. After we lost against Cincinnati, I thought, oh man, we're gonna hit rock bottom now, and no, it didn't happen. We turned around and had a couple more wins, and now we're trying to get some space between us and the rest of the teams. So that gives us that comfort room to keep going. But as far as this tournament, I think we've got enough players to, like you said, Jordi Alba has been playing incredible. I think he's playing like a number 10 on the wing, as Tata said. He's just he's I think of all the other guys after Messi, I think he's the best one so far.
Tata's been outstanding. Kata mentioning as far as the games, MLS Cup, then Supporter Shield, then Leagues Cup. I would say Supporter Shield's probably the last, in my opinion. I think because it's not a respected trophy, really. Nobody really cares. I'd say because to be back-to-back Leagues Cup is pretty damn cool. I would say MLS Cup, Leagues Cup, Supporter Shield. That was the order I would go in. Back to the Tigres game. Tigres is going to be home team in Houston. There's a lot of Tigres fans in Texas. Oh, yeah. That's going to be a tough game.
I hope Messi travels to that game because I think his presence there also helps the team. That gives them that little boost, to have their best player there.
Speaking of Messi, what was he doing here, Ed?
Oh, yeah. He was texting Peter Brown. I saw that part, too. And,
what was Messi doing here in the 33rd minute? Look at his wife's eyes. For those that are just listening, Messi's looking down at it. Looks to be his phone, sending a text message or doing something. And his wife keeping an eye on what Mr. Messi does.
Getting a little toxic. You know what they say about the Latinas being toxic. So there she is, making sure he's not getting out of line. Making sure he's, dude, he doesn't have time for anything else, I think.
Hey, look.
His family.
I think he's doing everything right. I saw just a few days ago he was out on a boat with his wife, looking like hot, looking like a supermodel, and sometimes you can't tell those pictures when they were taken because sometimes people post old pictures, but you saw he was wearing the boot, so it was current. It was a current picture. Yeah. And seeing his wife, I think, he's not going anywhere. His eyes aren't straying, but she's still keeping an eye. What are you doing?
Just in case. But we stole that picture from, I think, the Heron Head dudes.
So, I don't know. It's wherever you sent it. I posted it. I don't know where it's from.
But yeah, we steal things, and I hope they don't take it to heart or whatever.
Hey, we give credit when we know where it came from. So you just said it came from the Heron Head. So thank you to Heron Heads. We'll give you credit. Kata saying Antonella making sure he's only on football chats.
Oh, yeah.
He also says that toxic, and it makes me jealous.
Yeah.
Pablo Galasso saying maybe he's texting Sergio Ramos. Hey, you want to come here?
I know.
Mike V
We
thinks that
definitely
Messi
need.
was on TikTok. Oh, yeah, Mr. Krabs says, is Messi still wearing that boot? Yes, he is.
At least he's not on OnlyFans. Maybe that's what she's checking.
Yeah.
Could be OnlyFans.
Esteban Mejia says he was playing Tetris. Sports Shorts is wondering if maybe he's actually asleep. Speaking of funny images from that day, Ed, another image that I think Julio sent it to me, and I don't know where this image came from. But what's going on here?
Oh, yeah.
We've got a Puebla player being interviewed, and look what he's holding. He's holding a bag with an Inter Miami jersey, one of the Aqua jerseys, the new third kits.
Probably says Messi in the back.
Guaranteed 1,000% it says Messi. Have you ever seen another club come into your stadium and go and either ask for, he either was gifted or he spent his money? It looks like he went to the store.
Yep.
And bought himself a Messi jersey. It's one thing, it's normal for them to ask for, to trade jerseys. He's like, I'm going to go in the store. Did he go in the same store that you and I get to go in, Ed? Was an Inter Miami player or a fan just sitting there shopping and behind him in line? Is this Puebla guy? And
a lot of the people,
if you're the Puebla coach and you just lost and you see your player getting on the bus holding this in his hands, I might just slap that out of his hands.
Was this before or after the game?
I don't know.
Well, that might say something, because if it was before the game, it's.
I don't know. I'm going to go with the fact that it's after because it's more fun.
Either way, you'd figure he probably even has the chance to go by where Messi's at and have him sign it. It's probably for his kid. His kids, they probably want those, or, somebody in the family said, dude, hook me up with a Messi shirt. So it's Cauda says it's after.
I don't care. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. I do. Chris Arjun is saying, and Chris is, the photographer. He's out there on the field. He sees things. He says the Puebla players were all waiting for Messi with their Inter jerseys for him to sign them after the game. That is crazy.
Wow.
I know he's a big deal, but man, if I'm their coach, I'm pissed off. I'm like, act like a professional. Act like you've been here before. The hell, Ed?
Like a bunch of groupies. I'd be telling them, what are you guys, groupies?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Krabs brings up a good point. He couldn't have just put that in his backpack. Couldn't he have just put it in his backpack, Ed? That makes complete sense. Then nobody's making fun of him like we are.
Yes, he could have put it in his backpack, but I guess he didn't have enough space because maybe it was filled up with more Messi.
Maybe he's got a Suarez jersey in there too. Maybe he wanted the black one, the pink one, the aqua one.
And he just got he got the bag, and he said, well, I'm just going to put this one here so that they think that I only bought one, but he probably bought the whole lot of them.
Yeah. Pythia says, great photo. Love the idea. Players idolize Messi too without hesitation. You can idolize him and you go give him I saw plenty of players going up to Alba after the game, giving him hugs and talking. That's cool. That's what you're supposed to do. And look, if you want to idolize him and all that stuff, just hide it from the media a little bit. Be a little more. I think it's something about being professional. Don't carry around a bag like this, because just dumb guys like us are going to make fun of you.
That's hilarious. But hey, they're going to do it. It's the best player in the world, man. What could you do?
Ash Preetam says, they haven't been here before, though. I say, act like you've been there. And he's like, but they haven't.
I mean, it's kind of hard, man, not to. I'm sure even the refs want to take pictures with him. And it's just who he is.
Oh, yeah.
You don't get that opportunity all the time. We haven't had the opportunity.
Years ago, I remember when Blanco, remember Cuauhtemoc Blanco was playing for Chicago, and there was an MLS referee that I think after the game got a jersey and got Blanco to sign it for him. This MLS referee got suspended for doing that.
Wow. Well, I mean, how can you blame them? I mean, they're human after all, you know.
I know.
All right,
I know.
I guess there's etiquette or whatever, but you throw that out the window. I mean, you don't get that opportunity very often. That's why if we ever get the chance to have him sign something or take a picture with him, we're going to take it. And
Ed's
we've
going to have
had
him
that
sign his bald
opportunity,
head.
Peter. Well, exactly.
And then tattoo it.
I would probably tattoo it if he signs my head.
All right, Ed, before I had thought we'd talk more about the game than we did, but I think I've had more fun with this stuff. Speaking of fun, let's go and listen to a voicemail.
It's time for your voicemail.
Hello?
This is Ted from Hollywood, Florida. That's right. I live in Broward County now. I just moved this weekend to Hollywood, Florida. Just wanted to be closer to Peter and further away from Ed.
Makes sense.
JK. Last night, Grussel's becoming a good player, especially from when he plays on the wing. Rojas scored. This team is just really good right now, especially Bright in the defensive midfield. There's only a couple players I don't like anymore, but this is way different than the start of the season. They can easily win without Messi now, most games against MLS teams at least, and at least some Liga MX teams. I actually think this team could have, if this team had Diego Gomez and Redondo and everything and everyone healthy, Messi and the whole squad, even with this Martinez guy now, probably could have won the CONCACAF Champions Cup if they had the same team that they do now and everyone was healthy. I really think this might be the best team in North America and maybe one of the best teams that's ever played in North America. We still haven't even seen everyone really play together. Once Messi comes back and if Diego Gomez stays with Inter Miami for this season, I know he might be going to Europe. But with Redondo and with Bright playing the way he is, and with this new defender Martinez, everything is just really good. They have really good periods of football. They still have some sloppy moments, but once Messi comes back, I think that'll clean up a lot of things too. All right, Ed, you don't really need to shave. I was just joking. That's kind of your signature look now. Okay, bye.
So Messi will help clean up the mess. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think we're doing great, man.
It is amazing the depth that we have because they've talked before about the depth, and at some point, I think we at least I did questioned them playing some of these younger guys earlier, and they're like, oh, this is our depth. I mean, come on, they're kids. But playing them gave them the experience to actually be considered quality depth players,
And Gomez, we criticized because in the beginning he was sucking.
It sounds like that deal for Gomez is close to being done.
And I think we were talking about it in WhatsApp with you and Julio, that I think they brought him in for like just over $3 million, and it looks like he's going to leave for like 14 or something like that. So that's a pretty penny that Inter Miami are going to make.
Yeah, of course. That's what you want to do. You want to be a selling team and buy low and sell high. And it sounds like it may have finally worked. And the deal, from what we understand, is that he'll play until the end of this season.
And there's other players that might leave as well, So,
I took a picture, and I don't have it in front of me, but there was a guy on Twitter. I would love to give him credit for it, but I don't have the tweet in front of me. But he had basically said he was making an argument for trading Negri because Negri, you think, is the backup to Alba, but Negri is not the backup to Alba. It's It's Noah.
Noah.
Yeah,
Allen.
Noah is the backup to Alba. When you would expect Negri to be above Noah Allen. So, Negri makes sense to somebody that you would then sell. He is good enough to be a starter on a lot of MLS teams. Forget about selling him outside, just selling him within the league. He's good enough to be starting on a lot of MLS clubs.
Definitely a starting potential right there. And yeah, it's very surprising that they didn't use him as the backup for Jordi Alba in this game. Maybe the next one. But they won this game. I think they should stick with the lineup that they've got. Not too sure about the defender. Busquets is a defender though, but because that
injuries,
might bite
we had no choice.
Tigres. Tigres is a better player, a better team.
Tank says he feels that Noah came in because he is more defensive than Franco. Yeah, I mean Franco Negri likes to move up like Alba. He's kind of another Alba, low budget Alba.
There you go.
Walmart Alba.
Yeah, but he's good enough, man.
He's still good though. Walmart's still a good place. You can find some good deals. Kata saying that Christoph should leave soon, but he's injured, so we can't. That hurts the sell of him, and you can't buy out his contract because we've already used our one buyout clause on Robbie Robinson, and so and there was supposed to be a second one that was supposed to come in this summer, but that didn't happen. So, but I do like Negri, so that's why I mentioned him earlier in the show. I'd like to see him get more time, but it is what it is. But but it does. But that makes sense because you're bringing. It also gives not only if you're not playing him, not only is he expensive, but more importantly than about his price is his international spot. That you only get so many international spots, and so he's taking up one of those spots. So if you got rid of him, you're not playing him. So why keep him?
I agree. And people talking about Robbie Robinson, some people actually miss him. I mean, I think he was a good player, but just got hurt too much, man. Mr. Glass.
Yeah, he was. And the last image we saw from him was like recovering from another surgery. And like he had a surgery on top of his other surgery. Things just seem to be going from bad to worse, to worse, to worse, to worse, to worse.
Yeah.
So anyways, so next Saturday is the next game. It's going to be a lot harder. Luckily, I'm glad we're not playing a Wednesday night game for myself, for selfish reasons, because Tuesday night I have to fly to Colombia. I am going to Medellin Tuesday night. And I'm like, oh no, now Apple TV is supposed to be global, so I should be able to watch the games in Colombia, but I'm out doing work-related dinners when I'm in Colombia, so I would probably miss it. So I'm happy for selfish reasons because I will be back in town. I'm just going for a short trip. I'm going to be there Tuesday and then coming back Friday morning. So a short trip to Colombia, but I was afraid I'm going to miss the game, but luckily it'll take place on Saturday, so I can watch it. Real quick before as we end the show, Ed. How do you think we do against Tigres? Can we beat Tigres with this lineup? No Messi. He's not going to be back.
It's going to be tough because I thought we were going to play here at our stadium, and if we played here, I think we could win. We're going to play in Houston, which
hostile
means
environment.
It's going to be a hostile environment, even though there are a lot of Messi fans out there. But he's not playing, so we are an away team in this game. So I'm hoping we at least get a tie so we can go on to the next stage. But Tigres is one of the better teams in Mexico.
Kata thinks that we win on PKs. Possible. You get a tie. Each team gets 1 point, and then the winner on the PKs gets 2 points. Richard Greenberg saying, hey, Peter, I got a special package if you could bring over the border. I'll pick it up next week. Playing on the Colombia. The funny thing is, my team, when they find out that I'm coming to Colombia, they do use me as a mule. I'm bringing over an iPhone. I'm bringing over some other things that they're like, can I order something and send it to your house so you could bring it to me? I'm like, sure, whatever.
They
I've
take
brought
advantage
PlayStations
of you.
before, Xboxes,
Wow.
Commentary is now coming in on the game. Sports Shorts saying, I think we could beat any team, anywhere, anytime. Ace Lionel says, another 2-0, baby.
Oh, there you go.
And then Ash Preetam says, we need to minimize getting dispossessed and intercepted. Exactly. So anyways, let's wrap this up. Ed, what's happening tomorrow? Are we going to do a show?
I'm not sure. Unfortunately, lately I haven't been able to set up anything yet for the Spanish show, but we'll try. We'll try to do something with Marco tomorrow. He might just go live for a little bit, and but we'll see. I might be able to do it from from my job or something.
All right, yeah, because I saw somebody in the chat asking about the Spanish channel. Like, what the heck? What's going on?
Yeah, it's my fault. There's been a lot of work and stuff, and I haven't been able to get out early like I usually do. So, you got to make money.
The hardest
but you guys
part.
Can always support us on Patreon. That way, I don't have to work so much.
For $5, you could join the Patreon. Look, some Patreon clubs, you get something back. We haven't gotten to that point. You're just helping us. You're just showing how much you love us, and we appreciate it because that will help us.
Give us some love.
It will help us continue to go to games and maybe buy a better camera and all that kind of good stuff. So,
all that good stuff, Peter, and I'm still considering selling my kidney. So, you guys helping us on Patreon will help me keep that kidney because I like to drink, and those things help.
Kata's asking, any fan meetups for Patreon? Yeah, we could do that. We could create a fan meetup for Patreon.
Peter and I were planning on doing the pub crawl thing, so come and join us, guys.
Yeah, I was going to mention that, and I forgot. But yeah, there is a pub crawl, and I think the pub crawl is for season ticket holders. But all that really means is that season ticket holders will get free drink tickets. It doesn't stop you from going along. If you're not a season ticket holder but want to join along, you just have to buy your own beer. And I'll make this the first Football Miami TV supporter I see, I'll buy him a beer. That's not a season ticket holder. That doesn't count you, Ed. But
I'll do the same thing, man. Somebody comes up to me, hey, Uncle Ed, give me that beer. I'll give you a beer.
If you're a Football Miami TV supporter and you go to and hang out with us, because I'll be honest with you, Ed, I went to last year's pub crawl with my brother, and I didn't really feel it. I didn't know anybody. I'm not the most social person, but if Ed is going, I know we'll have a good time because Ed's Mr. Fun. I'm kind of boring, but Ed's fun.
Well, now Marco also is going to be there as well. He told me he would go, so that's cool. We're trying to get Don Roberto to go as well, so it might be a whole team of people. Hopefully, we'll be a big group, and you guys can hang out with us, and and we can have a good time.
Sports Short says, I'm not going to underage drink. Clearly, we're only talking to those that are 21 and over. So,
but yeah,
let's turn this pub crawl into a little mini Football Miami TV meetup. That would be fun.
We'll be talking a lot of foosball.
And we'll mention this again next week, maybe earlier in the show for those people that don't stick to the an hour and 4 minutes into the show. We should promote this earlier in the show next week. All right.
So meet us there, guys.
Meet us there. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. You know what to do. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you next week.